Welcome to today's explainer. If you've been looking at your garden in this sweltering heat thinking, well, the growing season's basically over, you are in for a massive surprise. Today, we're breaking down the exact science and strategies from agricultural experts on how to make August the absolute most productive month of your year.
Did you know that August is the perfect time to plant next season's garden success stories? Stick around to discover how you can transform your garden this August for a bountiful harvest. A lot of folks think August is strictly a month for harvesting your summer crops and then just sitting back. But that is a huge misconception, and we're going to show you exactly why. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today's masterclass. First, understanding August planting. Second, what to plant now. Third, tips for summer maintenance. And finally, harvesting and beyond. So kicking things off with Section 1, Understanding August Planting, specifically looking at climate and soil. August gives us this totally unique dual-natured climate window. Think about it. On one hand, you've got intense daytime heat. Now, this hot soil actually speeds up seed germination like crazy, which is great, but it comes with a serious risk of thermal shock for those young plants. But then, on the flip side, we have cooler, shortening nights. And this is the absolute ideal environment for cool weather and winter-hardy crops to really establish their roots without getting scorched. So it's kind of a delicate balancing act, right?
So how do we set the stage for this balancing act? Well, soil prep is your foundation. First things first, clear out any old crops, stuff like early potatoes or cucumbers. Next, give that soil a nice shallow dig. You want to break up that hard crust and yank out any leftover weeds. Now, step 3 is an absolute must. If you're using mineral fertilizers, you literally have to wait for a cloudy day. Doing it in the blazing sun can chemically burn the root systems, and we definitely don't want that. Finally, for your autumn and winter plots, go for a deep plow, about 25 to 28 centimeters deep. That destroys new weeds and really locks in that precious moisture deep down.
Moving right along to Section 2, What to Plant Now. We're talking vegetables, herbs, and flowers.
All right, the soil is prepped, so let's get those seeds in the ground. Take a look at these spacing and depth numbers because they absolutely matter. Matador spinach, for example, is a superstar in August. Plant it just 2 to 3 centimeters deep, and it grows so fast you'll literally be harvesting it in about 30 days. Crazy, right? Then we've got root crops like daikon and turnips. These guys need a bit more elbow room, so space them 30 to 40 centimeters apart. And remember, they need constant moisture or they'll get woody and tough. Green onions do fantastic when you plant them a little deeper, about 5 to 6 centimeters, preferably in partial shade so the sun doesn't fry them. Oh, and for herbs like dill and parsley, direct sowing them right now is a game changer because it stops them from bolting early, which is what usually ruins summer crops.
And hey, you don't have to give up on flowers just because summer is winding down. We can easily keep that visual pop going right into the fall. Chrysanthemums, if planted now, are going to bloom intensely from September right up until your first frost. Got a spot with intense baking sun and dry soil? Zinnias are your best friend. They have incredibly high drought tolerance. Or maybe you're thinking about evergreens? Well, August is prime time for rhododendrons. Just make sure they have acidic soil. We're talking a pH of 4.5 to 6.0, and plant them pretty shallow, spaced a good 1.5 meters apart.
Okay, on to Section 3, Tips for Summer Maintenance, or basically, how to beat the heat.
Look, getting the seeds in the ground is only half the battle. These young August plants need strict care to survive the late summer heat waves. First up, strict watering times. This is non-negotiable, folks. Water early, between 6 and 9 a.m., or in the evening, between 6 and 9 p.m. If you water in the midday sun, it just evaporates instantly and can actually cause thermal burns on the leaves. Second, deep root watering is vastly superior to a shallow daily sprinkle. You want to train those roots to dig deep into the earth for moisture. Also, always use room temperature water. Hitting baking hot soil with freezing cold water from the hose, that's going to shock the roots and make your plants drop their blossoms. And finally, protect that soil. Throw down a nice thick layer of straw or bark mulch, and definitely consider tossing up some shade nets during that peak heat from noon to 4 p.m.
Now, I want to pause here for a massive warning straight from agricultural experts. They say, avoid wetting the foliage during evening watering, as retained water drops create ideal conditions for rust and mildew. Let me repeat that because it's absolutely crucial. If you water at night, aim strictly at the base of the plant. If moisture just sits on those sensitive leaves overnight, it is a guaranteed recipe for fungal diseases that will wipe out all your hard work in a matter of days. Don't do it.
Which brings us to Section 4, Harvesting and Beyond. It's time to future-proof your soil. You know, the stuff we do now in August is actually setting the stage for next spring. And these late summer crop cycles, they move incredibly fast. Check out this timeline. On day 1, you're sowing those fast crop seeds like your spinach or radishes. By day 15, you're doing some light weeding and keeping up with that deep watering. And by day 30, literally just 1 month later, you are already harvesting those early late summer yields. It's just a wonderfully efficient way to use your garden space.
But what about the beds that are just sitting there completely empty? Well, that brings us to a really fascinating biological tool that homesteaders absolutely love, sideration, which is also known as green manure. So what is it? It's simply the practice of sowing fast-growing cover crops right after you harvest. And why do we do this? We do it to organically restore the soil's fertility, totally choke out weeds, and break disease cycles without using a single drop of synthetic chemicals. It's brilliant.
So here's how you actually pull off green manure. First, sow those cover crops right now in August. The experts highly recommend mustard, oats, or buckwheat. Mustard is basically magic because it actively cleans pathogens right out of the soil. Oats, on the other hand, are perfect if you just harvested a bunch of potatoes. Step 2. Just let them grow until they hit early bloom. That's the sweet spot when they are packed with nutrients. Step 3. Get in there, mow them down, and roll the biomass flat. And Step 4. Plow all that rich organic matter right back into the dirt about 10 to 15 centimeters deep. It acts just like a natural mulch and slowly releases nitrogen and potassium exactly when your spring plants are going to need it.
Wow, okay, we've covered a ton of ground today. From managing that tricky August climate and doing proper soil prep, to picking the perfect seeds, nailing your watering schedule, and future-proofing your garden with green manure. If you found this explainer helpful, make sure to hit that bell icon and subscribe for more actionable gardening insights.
Just a quick note before we go, please check out the disclaimer on the screen. Gardening success naturally varies a lot based on your specific local climate and soil conditions, so treat these as general guidelines to help optimize your outcomes and adapt them to your own backyard. But here is my final question for you. Now that you know August isn't the end, but actually the beginning of your next harvest, what are your August planting plans? Are you going to try out that matador spinach, or maybe experiment with green manures to completely transform your soil? Share your experiences in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.